meandering market, volatility, up and down and all around. We were looking for a catalyst. We got it. NVIDIA for the win, reigniting the AI trade. Not good for all stocks. We'll talk about that. Vicious rotation that's taking place right now. Going to take place for at least the remainder of the day. You know what I miss most about the government shutdown? Economic data, 8:30. We're going to go crazy, folks. We're going to bring up the 1-minute chart, maybe the tick chart. We're going to see what the data says, see if we can get that December rate cut back on the table. Big day, pre-market prep, also 8:35. You guys want to talk crypto? Jason Shubnell from the block, he'll join us. He called November Painvember. We'll talk about the crypto market. We'll talk about what you want to talk about on pre-market prep.
The volatility right now is really incredible.
Wow, look at that consolidation on the upper right chart.
You know what we've seen this earnings season? Some of these expected moves get even more violent. And this is why I have switched my strategy 10 years ago. And if you're chasing, you're in trouble.
All right, good morning, traders and investors. We're big in the green, 88 handle, 67.49, just off their highs of the pre-market session, no big deal. The buck over par here, up 9 cents at 10023. TLT, that's in the green too, just a little bit. Just tick to the red. Let's call it flat at 88.88. USO, that's trying to recover from the bad day yesterday, up 36 cents, 71.24. GLD, that's in the green, 91 cents, 375.87. SLV flat. Bitcoin not going to be left out of the rally today. That's up $2,300, right around 92K. These charts are brought to you by TradeStation. They are the new sponsor, along with Hive Technologies of pre-market prep. Dennis, Brent, me, Josh, everybody in the PMP crew, STN network, we're learning more about TradeStation, and we are going to teach you about it as well. So big thanks to our sponsor, TradeStation. Let's bring in Triple D, and Triple D is about 72% today. So everyone, 70? Ooh, at 70. I'm
6-7. 6-7.
6-7. Okay. So everyone in the chat is going to be super nice to Dennis today. Just today. Yes. Tomorrow we'll go back.
Just today.
Yeah, just today. Just today. So
wow. I don't even know what to say, but this is AI day. NVIDIA, which was good. NVIDIA and Brenster, come on in here. Let's talk this report, because Brenster is breaking it down on STN Live last night, breaking it down with us here right now, because this has ignited the entire AI trade. There are so many stocks trading higher. We got Joel Kalina, who has a nice graphic of this morning's action here, which we can show in a second. But let's first break down the NVIDIA action.
All right, you want the numbers? You want the numbers? Can you even handle the numbers?
I don't know if we can.
All right, NVIDIA reporting Q3 adjusted earnings $1.30, beat by 5 cents. Sales beat by about $2 billion, $57 billion versus about $55 billion. They gave some guidance. They're expecting next quarter sales 63.7 to 66.3 billion. Analysts around 61.5 billion. Solid quarter, solid guidance. Data center sales were 51 billion, up 25% from last quarter, up 66% on a year-over-year basis. Dennis, you want me to read the Jensen Huang quote that freaked me out last night?
Yeah.
Okay, so Jensen Huang, earnings press release will always have one little quote from an exec. The NVIDIA press release was pretty cut and dry. They had the earnings, they had the sales, they had the guidance, and this quote from Jensen Huang: Blackwell sales are off the charts. Cloud GPUs are sold out. Compute demand keeps accelerating and compounding across training and inference. The AI ecosystem is scaling fast. We've entered the virtuous cycle of AI. With more new foundational model makers, more AI startups across more industries and in more countries, AI is going everywhere, doing everything all at once. All the commentary that I've just given here, only from the press release, but the conference call, which started at 5 p.m. last night, is when people really started freaking out about this report, about the guidance, about how AI is taking over. And we can maybe get into some of that sentiment in a little bit here, but want to kick it back over to you guys, digest a little bit of what I've offered so far.
Yeah, just that whole commentary, has kickstarted not only NVIDIA, which had a great day and is having a great morning. It's just all the AI stocks. A lot of them are up way more than NVIDIA. And do you have that graphic that Joel
Yeah,
put together here today?
pulling it
Because you
up
can
right
just
now.
see, this was put together about an hour ago by Joel. Thank you, Joel Kalina from Wedbush, obviously, who comes on the show all the time. So we're going to show you a graphic here. This is just, what's happening here this morning. CoreWeave,
CoreWeave,
Stereo Labs.
all the data center names at the top there.
Yeah.
NVIS.
Yeah, this is what's happening here early this morning. And some of these stocks have actually went up more. So some of these companies are up even more than they were. This was from an hour ago. They've moved up even more. CoreWeave's now up 9.5%. Stereo Labs up 8.8. Nebius, which we bought recently in the STN room live a couple days ago, up 7.5%. I mean, we're up like, I don't even know, we're up like 17% of that in 2 days. Celestica, a Canadian company, SMCI, Vertiv, there's NVIDIA on the list itself, but Oklo. So you've ignited nuclear, you've ignited everything to do and anything to do with AI here. Palantir got a mention last night, I believe, somewhere in the commentary. It's trading up 4% as well. It's an incredible move. Micron, obviously was weak there for a couple of days, bouncing right back here. So we get this snapback, vicious snapback rally in all these stocks here, Joel. Let's just start with the technicals, and let's start with the big dog, NVIDIA, because maybe that's still going to be your leader here today.
Do you want one number?
Yes.
Always.
I dreamt about this number. I did. I did. I wish I would have figured out how to play
about
it,
stock
but
trading numbers, levels.
What did you say, Dennis?
He dreams about levels.
195.5.
Okay.
It's like the magnet, eh? Just can't get away from it.
Pure and simple. Halfway back of the move from 211.34 to 169.65. Right there, right on the kisser. Right there. Pair of highs here. You didn't quite get to the expected move. The expected move, I believe, was around $13. That would have taken you up closer to 199.200. You got to 198.60. But this is the level. I don't know what it's going to do today, up and down and all around, but a classic 50% retracement. If that was your target, well, that's your target. Hold on to it. Maybe going back to 200, 205, 210, 220, who knows? But that was a level I was looking at to go to, and it hit it early yesterday or after hours, and I'm thinking, it went like to 195.80, and I'm like, I'm going to call the top. I'm going to say the top is in overnight, that it's not going to go any higher, but I've learned my lesson in this market. You can't call the top in this stuff. So keep an eye on it. You long-term traders, short-term traders, it's a big level. You hold a bid there, and boom, I think you're going back, working your way back to 200. But that's
It's in the expected range.
Yes.
Expected range was 14 points, I believe, which will put it up to about 200.
Yes.
So I like the 200 level of resistance better than when you're 195 number, but that is resistance, and that is major resistance until broken here.
Yes.
It's sat here for long enough. It may do it today. I mean, sometimes we see violent reversals after 9:30, so we have to, consider that as always a possibility as well. I stay long NVIDIA. I haven't sold any. The analysts aren't getting off the bandwagon. Price target raise at Goldman Sachs, Rosenblatt, Jefferies, KeyBank, Mizuho, Bernstein, Baird, Citi, Evercore, William Blair, Susquehanna, Barclays, Truist, Benchmark, Deutsche Bank, Piper, JP Morgan, not to forget them as well. Piper and Cantor are both reiterating their remains their top pick, says Cantor. So the analysts are all over it. They continue to raise price targets and remain at buy. The party is everybody's in this. So this stock mattered so much. So it is relief for a lot of these stocks, because if you go back on that list that we were showing, a lot of these stocks were really beat up in the last month. So you're getting a huge relief pop in these names this morning. The question is, does it hold? It absolutely has to hold. So best case scenario for the market, it holds under the gains. NVIDIA continues to build. We get a gap and go, and it sets us up for a beautiful December. Worst case scenario is it starts to leak and you start to see profit taking coming off in some of these names. So because these names, some of them have really been beat up and they need relief rallies. CoreWeave has been an epic, utter disaster in the last 3 weeks. It went from 140 to 70, got cut in half in, I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. It got cut in half in 14 sessions. That is absolutely incredible. Closed near the lows yesterday. So it's having a huge day. It's up 9%. Is there overhead supply? Oh, you want to believe there's overhead supply. There's bag holders everywhere in this thing. Is there room though? I mean, the 50% retracement of just the most recent move would be up like 105. So, I mean, that's how oversold this name was. So you're seeing this relief pop in all these AI darlings for the simple reason is that they were all massively and epically oversold. You know, why we bought Nebius the other day. I'm like, it's just really oversold. It went from 130 down to 81 bucks in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 sessions. I mean, these are incredible sell-offs. This was, you know, a bear market for a lot of these names that were just on that list you were just looking at. They just went through a bear market. Do they turn it around and build from here? Well, NVIDIA is giving them everything they need to do that. But guilty until proven innocent. Let's see what happens today. They absolutely have to hold up. If they don't, all these stocks got major problems. So today is a day of reckoning for all these stocks.
You know what though, Dennis? I mean, I know we can put a lot of emphasis in today and everything, but you know, sometimes they just kind of hang out. You know, they kind of just get like maybe NVIDIA is going to give it all back today or some of it, but they they don't just teases you a little bit. It might hang on for a few days. The best thing here from a technical standpoint would be a couple days of consolidation, you know, and a couple highs, couple lows in the same area, you know, move higher, consolidation, and then break out of the consolidation higher. So, I mean, it's the first day. Yeah. I mean, right now it sure as heck doesn't look like it's giving it back, but you know, there's people parceling in. If you're getting long up here and looking for the 200, I don't know where your stop would be, but I think the trade, it was strong.
You got to stop yourself out the low of the move. So if you're buying CoreWeave here at this point in time, you're stopping yourself out the low of the move, which is 70. So you're buying the 82, you risk at 12 bucks because you can't. If you're buying this technically, you got to give yourself the low of the move because we could chop around here. So I mean, very difficult to be paying that much up. That's why, again, my core strategy is buy dips, sell rips. This is a hell of a rip. Now, does that mean it's over? They're very oversold. So, but I mean, if you're buying rips, if you're buying all these AI stocks today, I'm sorry, you're doing it backwards again.
There's a ton of these stocks on the list. If I don't want to go through them all individually here, but why don't you, if there's a couple that you want some more technicals on, throw them in the chat here. And as we move on, we'll have Brent, you know, take care of them, and then we can go back to them because there's a lot of them on here.
And that's just one list. Like, I mean, we don't even have the quantum stocks on there, you know, like look at what has done to IONQ. Look at what's been done to QBTS. Look at what's been done to QUBT. I mean, you know, they've just been massacred. Some of these stocks are down 60, 70% in the last month and a half. So they're all getting relief pops here this morning too. They needed it. They were due for it. NVIDIA gave them relief. That is really what this, you know, happened. NVDA spells relief. That's what it is for all these stocks. Does it continue? I mean, those questions are still to be answered. We don't have a crystal ball here and we don't know. We can just say, you know, that the setup is here, that these were very oversold and NVIDIA gave them what they needed. So the AI trade gets ignited again. We are coming into a good period here. I tend to think the dips are going to get bought on some of these names, and maybe they did make the lows a couple days ago, but let's see what happens here after the open. The other thing to consider, it's all about NVIDIA today. It's all just going to be about that. The other thing to consider is there is going to be some rotation here again. It's not going to be as violent as it was last night when RSP was trying to go down, but RSP has actually went back up here now, so that's going to help. but I mean, it's not up much. So you're looking at the same 500 stocks only up 0.42%. So what does that mean? Well, when you have tech stocks trading up as much as they are, there's probably going to be a few stocks that are going to trade lower here. Burke is down. Staples are going to be down, even though we can get to Walmart in a second. Walmart's going to try to help a little bit. Stocks like AT&T, Verizon going to be down. Eli Lilly's been on a hell of a run. It's probably going to be profit-taking day for Eli Lilly. I'm calling that now. So if they stay this strong, if the AI trade doesn't roll over after the open, I'd expect some rotation out of value names.
Yep, you got, what about, let's just pick on the usual culprits when you see this kind of move. Your non-tech components of the there you go. You got Costco in the red. Let's look at Comcast, Dennis. I know Comcast in the red, AT&T in the, not much, barely in the red. It's a big move up, but yeah, the rotation.
You're not, again, you don't expect these stocks to be down 5, 6, 10%. I mean,
No.
These are small companies, but I'm saying when you come in, you see the market up 85 handles, you automatically assume, the layman will assume that everything is going to be higher. We are outlining the stocks that are not going to be higher and indeed are going to be lower. So they're going to be stocks that actually go down today. The QQQ non-tech components, I would expect weakness on some of those names. We were talking about this last night. Stocks like Amgen, I would expect that to be down today. Not because of anything that Amgen did, but simply that the AI trade is too strong. I would expect a stock like Monster Beverage, which is in the Qs, MNST, probably show some early weakness. Now, again, everything can change. What you'll see is some of these stocks actually inversely correlate with NVIDIA. NVIDIA opens 196 and starts to puke, they'll turn around and start buying those other names. So just keep in mind Staples, QQQ non-tech components, healthcare stocks. The banks normally usually move the opposite direction, but they're not, because I think the market's just so strong that's bringing up the banks here too. So going to be lots of interesting rotation here today, and that's the name of the game. If you can get ahead of the rotation, you can make some money.
Was that the only stock that reported?
No. So let's go to Walmart, because Walmart obviously was the big gun. We'll get Palo Alto Networks. It was big three reporting last night, but Walmart's number 2 on this list. Walmart reported earnings here this morning to show Target how it's done, because Target, same-store sales down, disaster quarter. Yeah, there was a nice bounce trade in it yesterday from the 85 level, which we played in the STN room, but all that was dead cat bounce. Now you go to Walmart here. Bar somewhat high, because it's been holding up well. Costco was weak yesterday. We were actually trading Walmart from the short side yesterday because Costco was so weak, which worked out well too. But give us those numbers here for Walmart, and we'll tell you where we think it's going.
All right, Walmart reporting 62 cents, a 2-cent beat. Sales 179.5 billion. Analysts were looking around 177 billion and a half. They did raise their guidance. Comps looked solid, I think 3 or 4% growth. They also are, just on a side note, they also are going to be transferring their stock listing from the NYSE to the NASDAQ on December 8th or 9th, I think it is.
Well, that's interesting.
I know. I wanted
that on my bingo card.
I wanted to ask you why you thought that was interesting, but let's do the earnings and maybe the chart a little first.
Okay, so higher bar, stock sold off initially, and then they started comparing the results to Target, and they're like, well, this is night and day. This is how you actually do it. So if we're just looking at the Walmart numbers, we were saying comps were down 3%, I believe, at Target yesterday.
Target, yes. Yep.
Comps, US comps, ex fuel, up 4.5%. US comps with fuel up 3.8%. That's a Sam's Club too. So both their wholesaler and their regular stores trading up. They're raising their revenue outlook. I mean, they're raising their guidance, their EPS guidance. I mean, whatever problems Target is having is not having at Walmart. Walmart's not having any problems here at all. So Walmart kind of showing you how it's done. So not up a lot here because the reporter was just good, but not down here because the reporter was good. The report was good enough. I think some people were nervous after Target, and obviously Walmart not having any issues that Target is having.
Did you stick with that swing short you threw out in the STN room, or did you cover ahead of the
Well, not taking through earnings. No, it was a day trade.
Oh,
so, yeah.
Okay. I wasn't.
Yeah. No, I put it on and I shorted yesterday, and I think I made 70 cents on it. So it's a nice little day trade that we did live in the room. That was off Costco's because Costco just started tanking. I'm like, Costco taking, Walmart's going to start tanking here too, and it did. So yeah, no, I'm not like a complete.
I didn't know.
I mean, if you're taking your shorts through the earnings reports,
Yeah.
You're lottery ticketing it. You're gambling.
Okay.
So I don't like to gamble. I am like everybody always assumes because I'm a day trader, they assume I'm this compulsive gambler. So I used to have my wife's best friend. She'd come over, for like a Friday night dinner. She's like, "Did you win money today, Dennis? Did you win money?" He'd always say that. "Did you win money?" And I'm like, "Yeah, won a little bit. Oh, lost a little bit." You just kind of go with it, But the opinion of a day trader to the general public is this guy's a compulsive gambler and he's going to lose his house and lose everything. That's what they think. I am the exact opposite of that. I'm a risk manager and I put, capital into places where I feel like I can control the risk. So risk first, then return. There is definitely day trader gamblers that are just going in and going here, going there, and going everywhere. And if you're seeing your P&L going up and down, up and down, up and down, you probably need to analyze your trading strategies or join Stock Trader Network. Because my P&L usually has the steady climb. I have not had a down month, and this can, you can ask Bright Trading all those years. But in my regular trading account, I have not had a down month since 1999. In my regular trading account, my investment account, it goes up and down with the market. In my trading account, I have not had a down month since 1999. Why? Because I'm employing a lot of statistical edges a lot of time. So you just go to statistics and quantitative edges. And if you have a 55% edge and you employ that edge 100 times a day or 200 times a day, or back in the day I was doing 500 or 1,000 times a day when I was doing more high frequency trading, even more than that. I mean, that edge is going to pay off and you're probably very unlikely to have down days. Citadel doesn't have down days at all. I have down days, but I don't have down months. So, I mean, very consistent. I pride myself on consistency. So that's, what, and we're trying to teach that stuff over at the Stock Trader Network.
You want one number in Walmart?
Always. One number to rule them all, Joel, always.
103.50. I like 103.50 for a plethora of reasons. Number one is the 50-day moving average. And number two, look at all those sneaky tops up there, 103.50, give or take a few pennies. So as long as this adds resistance, it gets above 103.50, boom, let's work our way through all those thick offers going back to all-time high. The longer it takes to recover that 50-day moving average, the trend is down for me for now.
I don't know. This one I'm taking a pass on because this could go either way. So I don't like the chart pattern. I don't like there's a lot of resistance 102, 103. But I also know that if the economy starts to go south, they go to Walmart. If the economy stays strong, they stay at Walmart. So, I mean, the company is just, trading 40 times earnings because it's like Costco. People shop there no matter what. You go in these stores, they are always, always busy.
They are.
So, I mean, you want to stay invested in Walmart? I don't think it's cheap, but I don't think you're getting at 20 times earnings anymore. Walmart is the new Costco. Costco has commanded a 40 times PE multiple for basically the entire duration of the company. Walmart was down in the teens for a long time, which was stupid. But now it's back, in the mid 30s. Probably is where it belongs because they just are, cash cow central. A lot of cash cow companies like your Staples typically trade in the mid 20s. This is a little bit of a premium, but you're not getting Walmart at 5 times, 10 times, 15 times earnings. Could you get it eventually at 25? If the stock market really went south, maybe. But, it's just a company that just keeps performing. So would I buy Walmart at 25 times earnings? Yes, I would. It's 33, I think, or 34. So it's too expensive for me up here, but that's, the market that we're in.
All right. And then the other big gun was Palo Alto Networks. And we have that trading in the red by $6. And let me get the numbers here
I got them for you, Joel.
Sure, thank you.
All right, 93 cents for Palo Alto. They beat by 4 cents. Sales 2.47 billion. Analysts were looking for 2.46 billion, so a slight beat there. Their quarterly guidance for next quarter was fine. Earnings expected 93 to 95 cents. Analysts were at 93 cents. They also did raise their fiscal year 26 guidance pretty modestly by about 5 cents. now a range of 380 to 390. Analysts are at 381. Palo Alto is also going to be spending 3.35 billion for a company called Chronosphere. Sort of interesting, and in my opinion, you can use these little clues. We had the Palo Alto earnings report out at 4:10 p.m. The M&A deal for Chronosphere was announced 2 minutes later. The stock was already tanking on the earnings before the M&A was announced. So I think it's important to note that they're doing some M&A, but I don't know that investors on the chart really cared about that deal.
This one is in a little bit of trouble here from a technical perspective. And the only reason I say that is working on a big monthly red, thick, ugly red candle, right? This month, you lost the 50-day. I mean, the 50-day is way up there at 209.31. And then the third thing is you took out the recent low of the move by $5, 198.40. That's now going to be resistance here. I'm not going to try and find support on this one.
The cybersecurity stocks really, this reported first. It actually brought a little bit of the market in a little bit ahead of
Sure.
NVIDIA. And obviously the sector got dinged. You know, CrowdStrike, a lot of them were trading down. It is all completely turned around with NVIDIA. So you had CrowdStrike trading down off Palo Alto Networks. I think it was down. Bring up CrowdStrike. How low did it get?
Let's see.
Because as soon as NVIDIA report and beat, then you just got to be buying the dips on these stocks. CrowdStrike got down to what, 510?
Oh, yeah, just below that. Good eye. 509.29.
Yeah, so we're down $10. They've all come back. So all the stocks, I mean, tech, this is tech day. So they've all come back except for Palo Alto, which actually reported the disappointing quarter. But even that dip got bought to a certain extent here. CYBR, remember they're buying, so that moves directly with it. So do we have an 830 economic number here?
We have multiple 830
Yeah,
economic
Dennis,
numbers.
This
Get
is
ready.
incredible. I don't even know what to do. Like, I don't remember what to do. I'm supposed
You
to go
remember.
wide, I believe.
You'd be fine. You'd be fine.
I want to go
Well,
wide.
So we're
Go
gonna
I
get
have an economic number
wide.
forever, so I'm going wide right now.
And for our new listeners, going wide, Dennis not only trades, but he likes to make markets and a lot of stuff. Also, he's trying to get out of a lot of positions. But on a number, illiquidity, he doesn't want to be the guy picking off. So when we tell him to go wide, that just means he's widening out his markets. And then when it's a dud number, he's like, oh man, now I got to put all the orders back in. But it's just so he doesn't get picked off.
So the high frequency traders, because they're really fast and the news algos can't pick you off, because if the number is hot, you know, and what are we getting to here to preview the numbers?
Yeah, go.
So we're going to be getting our weekly jobless claims data. We're also going to be getting the monthly employment situation report. This is the Bureau of Labor Statistics big monthly report that everyone focuses on. The non-farm payroll, the private sector payroll figure that we're going to be getting from the BLS in about 50 seconds is for the month of September. So that is just my one little warning there. The last report that we got, excuse me, on the jobs data from BLS was for the month of August at the beginning of September. So we do have some delayed data here. We have had jolts. We have had the ADP release. So we have gotten data points since the beginning of September, but we're getting some delayed info here. We are looking for 53,000 jobs, non-farm jobs for the month of September. For the weekly jobless claims figure, we are looking for, actually, we don't have an estimate for the weekly jobless claims figure, but we will be getting those data points here in about 7 seconds. Standing by to break in with those. I'm going to pull up Joel's chart so we can see if there's any price
high
action.
freaks already have the number.
Non-farm payroll is strong, 119,000 jobs for the month of September. Economists were expecting 53,000 reading. Let me dig through more of the numbers here.
I can just tell you though, man, December rate cut out the door, strong jobs number. What do you think about that? Let's look at the TLT too. We're trying to rally here, but haven't hit the pre-market high. Looking at the TLT, let's go to the 24 or the extended hours. TLT getting a little bump off this. S&P's very quiet here. Brent, go ahead with the numbers.
All right, so the private sector payrolls were 97,000 versus a 62,000 estimate. The unemployment rate for September did tick a little higher, 4.4%. Economists were looking for a 4.3% unemployment reading. Not sure that that number is hugely impactful. Do we have our jobless claims number? Yes, jobless claims, 220,000 for last week. The prior reading was around 232,000, so everything looks okay there. Market, kind of
Up a
trying to,
bit.
yeah, a little higher here.
Yeah, a little bit higher. IWM's moved about up about a buck. So we have moved up here on the
New
IWM.
pre-market high. New pre-market high.
So the logic here, just to walk it through, the logic here would be there was concerns from Fed heads this week, maybe a little bit last week, about the jobs market. Less about inflation, more about the jobs market. If we have strong jobs data here, yes, this is from September. Fed fund futures probably are going to be reacting the way that they have the last week, which is to lean less toward a December rate cut. If we don't have huge concerns with the jobs market, if we don't have huge concerns with inflation, the Fed is probably more likely to stay where it is right now.
I mean,
Thoughts?
IWM is ripping higher here. So whatever reason, they're finding a reason to buy it. So, we can look here, look at the data. The market is voting with its dollars and saying we like the number. So they're moving higher here. I mean, S&P's obviously moved up about a buck, but IWM moved up about 0.6%, 0.5%, which is significant here because it has no NVIDIA in it. So TLT, to Joel's point, has actually moved up slightly here as well. So we can keep an eye on that too. But let's just go back to the day. I mean, it's NVIDIA day. Everything's moving higher here. Bulls in complete control here. Does that change the rotation? Probably not. I mean, it's still going to be tech day no matter what. You just kind of probably move some retail names up. Airlines are moving higher on this a little bit here. Banks are still moving higher as well. So it's pretty much an everything rally except staples. That's pretty much the day.
And I think we're looking at it is, well, if we don't get the rate cut, no big deal. The economy's doing okay. The AI job hit is not coming, and things are just moving along. So that right now is the way the market's looking at it. We've had a rally going into it. The momentum's continued. Made a high. It wasn't a rip. There was no dip, Dennis.
No, there was no dip.
Nope.
No dip.
And I did see a couple questions in here. I'm just going to address them real quick before we go to our guest. Getting picked off is just leaving an order out there and blindly, like the market just rips higher, like 20, 30, 40 handles, and Dennis sells something at a price that he doesn't want to sell it at.
It's having orders sitting out there with new information coming into the market. So
Better.
when you are sitting out here, like here's the market. And what market makers typically do is they surround fair value where the market currently is. They have shorts out here on all the stocks, buys out here on all the stocks. They're playing markets. When they get short certain stocks, then they flip them around, buy the ETF. So they're always like going back and forth and back and forth. When you have new information coming in the market, you have bots that are really fast. So I mean, they could go to pick off bots. So you get short. Markets out here, you were sitting here, all your shorts are executed, and you're in a bad spot. So go wide means either broaden it out or move out your orders altogether. And that's what high frequency traders will do. During information dissemination periods like 8:30, they will back off their buys and their sells. So they move them out until the market reprices, and now we move back in. So they're always, trying to not get picked off. That's what we mean by picked off. It's called adverse selection risk, if you're talking to a finance professor. And that's the risk of getting your limit order picked off by a more informed trader, simply meaning that information has come in, the jobs and the economic data that we just got, and you were mispriced for that. So you move your orders out, market reprices, now you move them back in. That's the safe way from a market making perspective to play it.
And Dennis talked about if it rips higher, also just having like if it would have been a bad number and a bad reaction in the market. If he's just has a latent bid out there too close, to where the market's trading, they'll slam his bid. So that's looking at it on both sides. Well, it's 8:35. It's time for some crypto talk.
Ooh, nice.
And who else better to bring in From the block, Jason Shubnell. There he is, deputy managing editor at the Block Company, Jason Shubnell. I haven't called you Chubbs yet because that's not that's your nickname that I gave him officially. But how you doing this morning? How you doing on this Thursday?
Good, guys. Nice to see you again.
Yeah. So one thing, we have a lot of different guests, and we like to talk about the best things and stuff. But you can tell that this guy's a writer. You can tell this guy's an editor. You can tell that he's organized because he sent us some fantastic topics to cover today. And I want to pronounce it right. Painvember? Is that it?
That's what they're calling it, especially after October. Yeah, I mean, thankfully, NVIDIA has stopped the bleeding, as I'm sure you guys have already discussed earlier in the show. But yeah, things weren't looking good, haven't been looking good for a couple weeks now. But I think the tides at least have settled a little bit, and this is going to be an important weekend ahead. But that blowout quarter from NVIDIA last night really helped turn things around for Bitcoin, as well as the miners. I don't know if you guys have got into it yet, but
No.
Cypher and IREN at least more than others. They popped, I think, anywhere from 10 to 15% after hours last night. I'm not sure how that's fared in the pre-market, but they got a big boost following the report. And then I know even the smaller players like CleanSpark, Hive, HUD8, they all were up anywhere from 4 or 5 to as high as maybe 8 or 9% last night.
Did you say a big weekend for crypto?
I did. I mean that more from a sentiment. Sometimes things can turn for crypto on Saturdays and Sundays, and we'll see if they can pop back above 100K, or if we're going to be still sitting around 90K here. I think this will be an important next three or 4 days to see how things play the rest of the year.
I mean, let's just lay out the landscape here. And it's been a crypto winter come early because it started in fall. And in the beginning of October, crypto started to fall. And we went from the 128,000 or whatever, it depends if you look at the futures or the cash or what you're looking at, down to under 90,000. I mean, this is a serious sell-off for the crypto bulls. It's been a while since we've had a serious sell-off like this. But we know long-term, it seems like Bitcoin eventually just grinds its way and finds its way back. Is there a reason to believe that this time it's different, or is this just one of those other opportunities to just back up the truck and buy Bitcoin on the dip because eventually it just ends up going higher?
I still view it as an opportunity. I view Bitcoin still in a way that Sam Rowe, very good financial journalist out there. He always talks about the S&P. It's just always going up, guys. You're going to deal with a lot of volatility. You're going to deal with some down months, down weeks, down years but at the end of the day, it's always going to be going back up. And I think the sentiment is still high overall. Is still highly positive for Bitcoin. And so I do think we're going to go back up. I mean, think about it. What are we at here? Not even 2 years ago, we were around, I think, 45,000.
Yeah.
Right before the Bitcoin ETFs were approved. Yep. And so when you got to have some perspective when it comes to that. Obviously, it's going to be painful, especially if you're trading this or if you're watching this on a day-to-day basis. But at the, longer term, I think we're going to be heading back up to those all-time highs. I mean, I'm not going to say when it's going to happen, but I think we're closer to it than we are farther away from it.
All right. So last time we were on, and we've been talking about this for a long time, is MSTR, right? And it's net asset value, right? And where it's trading at according to Bitcoin. And wow, better off buying Bitcoin here. Let's talk about the recent price action, where it's come into, and the current sentiment around DATs.
Yeah, I think investors have softened on the DATs. Just overall, I think they've kind of bitten off more than they can chew. But Luckily, if you're into MSTR, you have maybe the ultimate Bitcoin bull leading the way in Michael Saylor. There was a rumor last week that they had offloaded, I think, 45,000 Bitcoin. That turned out to just be actually our one of our favorite accounts, Walter Bloomberg, misreading, I think, some wallet data. They were just transferring some of their Bitcoin strategy, that is. But people got spooked a little bit, and then less than an hour later, Saylor was already, I think he was CNBC. He was on TV somewhere saying, "We're not selling. We're actually going to be accelerating our purchases even more." Because over the past several months, they've been making smaller Bitcoin purchases than they had over the previous 12 months or so. They really slowed things down, especially with the price going down and everything like that. But over the past couple of weeks, because they usually announce their purchases on Monday, they've actually, I believe, I forget what it was this past Monday, but they made a pretty big purchase this past Monday compared to the previous few weeks, and so they're going to remain bullish on Bitcoin. That's I don't think that's ever going to change until he, as long as he's leading the way. But for the rest of these DATs, you've been seeing a lot of them start going to launching buyback programs and various repurchase programs. And so that's currently where we're at right now. And I think I may have said this before. I personally would, look toward the actual tokens themselves rather than these DATs, because a lot of these DATs are doing it just to kind of prop up their share price, and I don't know what the long-term outlay is for a lot of these DATs.
Is there a pain point for MSTR? Is there like a point? Like I saw something on Twitter. Who can believe what you see on Twitter? That like if Bitcoin hits X, like major liquidation by then. Is that just? I mean, they've been buying it forever, so who knows what their average price is? But is there a pain point here for Michael Saylor over there, or is he just going to keep on buying the dip?
He's going to keep buying the dip. Their MNAV fell under 1, I believe. I want to say sometime last week. I don't have my dates exactly lined up right now, and it happened for the first time in a long time. I don't believe it was the first time ever. It did drop below, I want to say earlier this spring, for very briefly, but it did fall below that, which obviously spooked a lot of people. But we are back up we are above that 1x level, at least the last I saw. Things may have fluctuated over the past 24, 48 hours that I missed. But it's at the same time, it's still dicey. And obviously Bitcoin, the price of Bitcoin is going to lead the way there.
Is there a chance that Michael Saylor, not that you're in Michael Saylor's, but is there a chance that he ever starts diversifying out from just Bitcoin, like buying other crypto companies here? Has he talked about anything like that? Because right now, am I correct in saying he's just Bitcoin and that's it? He's just a Bitcoin holding company?
Yep. He's a Bitcoin maxi, and I don't see him expanding in any meaningful way right now. I think he's got his thing settled on Bitcoin, and to be honest, he rarely even talks about others. And which kind of shows you right there that while he may be interested in them, it's not anything. It's not going to be anything meaningful on their balance sheet.
Does he ever sell?
No, I don't. Don't hold me to this, but I don't believe they've ever sold any of their Bitcoin strategy. That is
interesting. All right, let's move on from Bitcoin, and nice segue there to the debuts and the early flows of Solana, XRP ETFs. What's next? And we can bring in Dennis's favorite trading vehicle, Dogecoin.
Yeah, so over the past couple of weeks, we've seen the first, at least the most direct ETFs that offer spot exposure to XRP, Solana, and they had, I don't want to say record days, but they had the best debuts of the year in terms of ETFs. I believe the Solana ETF did almost 60 million in trading volume in its first day, and then followed that up with about 70 million in its second day. And then we saw the XRP ETF last week hit about, it just got past that day one high at about 58, 59 million in volume. And so people have been waiting for these altcoin funds for a while now. And especially with the shutdown, throwing things off and delaying things, I think that kind of helped build up some even extra pent up demand. And so, as institutions and traders are buying out of the Bitcoin ETFs, those have had some of their highest volume of outflows in recent days. That doesn't mean that they're shying away from these new altcoin funds right now. And then I believe we'll see next week the very first spot Dogecoin ETF hit the markets. I don't know if we have a date yet, but as far as things stand from what the experts are saying, it looks like I believe it's Grayscale. Again, I'm not. Don't hold me to that. I believe Grayscale has the first one ready to go. We'll be seeing Dogecoin. We'll be seeing Dogecoin on Wall Street pretty soon now.
Is there any utility to any of this stuff? Like, is there a utility to, like, Dogecoin was originally created as a joke, I remember. And is there now utility to any of these things? Like, I know Bitcoin's just its store of value, but some people say we may actually eventually transact in it. I mean, you can send it. Is there utility to Dogecoin, Fartcoin? I mean, is there anything here?
No, we may have talked about this last time I was on, but Dogecoin is basically just, it's living and dying off of that meme quality to it. But there is a small section of the market that they're hoping that it's going to have some utility down the road, particularly with the development of X, Twitter, and what Elon has been doing with that in terms of making it kind of like the everything app and being able to have payments and micropayments done within the app itself. People are betting that you'll be able to use Dogecoin to get some creator payouts or whatever the case may be on X. But so far, that's just kind of hopeful thinking. There's even one public company, I forget which one it is off the top of my head. I can't remember the ticker, but they started a Dogecoin treasury a couple months ago, and within their thesis laid out was exactly that. They're betting that Elon and X will create more utility for Doge itself. But so far, that's just wishful thinking.
We got one more topic here. I know you're up against the clock.
I do have a question for you guys, actually.
Yeah.
I know ETFs are never the most exciting, equities to talk about, but there have been at last count at least 150 ETF launches this year, and I'm sure it's well over 900 at this point. And I think we're gearing towards probably 1,000 by year's end. Obviously, in my neck of the woods, the prospect of the various crypto ETFs are top of mind, and it's playing out in the popularity with their early volumes. But what do you guys make of this? Of just the whether it's crypto ETFs or just the ETF world in general? What's going on with that? And what do you make of this explosion of funds in this year?
I mean, there's just so many, and I tweeted out one of my rants from last week on it, just yesterday. There are now over 14,000 ETFs. There's more ETFs than there is stocks.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you can just go through, there's an ETF, I feel like, for everything now. Like with Tesla, there's like a double long, there's a double short, there's, you jump into like a Tesla options strategy where they're just doing covered call rates. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's just stock specific. I think it's just, obviously this is Wall Street finding more ways to make more money. So they just continue to launch different products and derivatives of stocks, and people want them. There's a demand for this stuff. People like the double long, people like the double short. And, maybe it's because Robinhood couldn't short stocks for so long. So this was way, like these, double shorts and triple shorts created just because this was the way that people were going to be able to get short stocks in the Robinhood. Now that Robinhood can actually short stocks, I wonder if the demand for some of these products doesn't go down. But people just are uncomfortable shorting stocks. Like it's natural human tendency to be scared to short a stock, but they're comfortable buying, a triple short levered ETF. They don't realize the same damn thing. Like,
Right.
And exposures are still the same. But I mean, when we talk about 3 times levered ETFs, or, it was proposed, and that's, it's like somebody was floating it out, the idea of 5 times levered ETFs, like stock specific, 5 times. So the problem is these are single day performance metrics. So they're based on the daily performance. They're not based on long-term performance. So when they're daily vehicles, if you launch a 5 times ETF, if the stock, let's say you launched a 5 times ETF on Tesla, if Tesla has 120% down day in its history after that launch, that Tesla 5 times bull long will go to zero. So it goes to zero that day. So you can have years and years and years of gains, but it actually goes to zero that day because it can't handle a fall of that magnitude in one day. So we're at 3 times. I don't know if they're going to approve 5 times. I hope regulators don't, but the idea is being floated out there, and I hope that they're thinking about those, repercussions, because 20% down days do happen in stocks. We see them quite regularly and quite common. But I mean, in the crypto universe, ETFs have helped tremendously here. You made the best point saying, hey, when they launched crypto ETFs 2 years ago, Bitcoin's at 45,000. It's at 90 now. So yeah, it's off from the highs of 130, but I mean, really, you had a lot of investors coming in that didn't want to go open up a Coinbase account, didn't want to go through the whole problem of remembering a 16-digit code. And you do the ETF, and that all gets done for you. It made crypto more accessible to Wall Street, really. So, which is good. So I think, in the ETF, from an ETF context, it's probably helped crypto more than a lot of these other, stocks and companies that it is. And in some cases, ETF effects actually are a hindrance and a nuisance to some companies. So, but ETFs control the market, and there's no putting the genie back in the bottle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially in the crypto side of things, it'll be interesting to see how the staking component for these new ETH and Solana ETFs as they come to market, how that'll impact things in terms of institutions and everybody being able to actually generate yield on the fund. Obviously, we're not there yet, but we'll see how that goes in the coming months.
Great information coming from Jason Shubnell, Deputy Managing Editor at theblock.co. Go to that site to get your most up-to-date crypto information. And Chubbs, we'll have to start talking about crypto on the weekend. Like, Thanksgiving weekend and stuff. Everyone wants to talk about, got back over 100K before Thanksgiving. I'm so happy. So great information. Thanks for joining us. We'll get you back again real soon.
Thanks, guys. And Joel, you'll appreciate this. Last week, I took my oldest to her very first college basketball game.
Which one?
She's starting to play basketball once a week at school now. So the Wolverines were playing the Fighting Irish down in downtown Detroit. And so I thought, you know what? This is a pretty special opportunity. 2 top 15 teams playing not too far away from my house. It's the team I love, the Fighting Irish. Let's go see what they're like, especially that great player they have. And then I think we've been good luck for your Wolverines because they've just been shooting lights out ever since that night. I mean, I don't think they missed a shot, and they won. I think it was like 95-45 at one point. It was pretty wild, but she had a great time, and she especially loved watching the cheerleaders and the little leprechaun on the sidelines.
You keep an eye on Yaxel Lernberg, man. He is the next LeBron James. You heard it from me first. All right. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Extended interview. That was fantastic. Great information there coming from Jason Shubnell over at the Block. Make sure you go over to that site. Check out your latest crypto information. Dennis, it's a creeper rally. We are just creeping higher.
And everything is starting to turn green here. So that jobs number, the information that we just got, has helped the value stocks, which were underperforming. Burke is now in green. Banks have continued to go up here and are now trading up almost with the market. The IWM is trying to come up here now as well, obviously up over $1. So we went from an AI rally overnight to an everything rally here this morning. Even Walmart has turned and now starting to really start to build some steam here as well. So incredible. The Bulls take control here once again. Do they keep control? Because the Bears have been in control. And it's really been just a contrarian market here in the last month. And I love a good contrarian market, where we're fading, buying dips and selling rips. And, maybe that continues. We don't know where we're heading here. Obviously, nobody has a crystal ball. What has been working is sell the rip. But I tend to think with this many stocks up, man, I mean, I don't want to buy this rip, but I'm not sure I'm necessarily shorting it either because there's a lot of good news here this morning.
All right, we got a few minutes left. We had a merger in the markets here. Abbott Labs and Exact Sciences doing a deal here. And you know what? I'm happy. I think I've owned this stock. Don't ask me what my cost basis is, but I've had this, I don't know, maybe 10 years. I don't know.
Joel's
No,
like Warren
no.
Buffett. He just buys over there and they never sell, him and Lisa, which
So
is a
what-
good strategy. He just tells me to sell because he can't.
I told you to buy yesterday,
He wants me to
Dennis.
sell all the
Dennis,
time because
Did I
he's not-
tell
he
you to buy
can't sell.
yesterday? Did I tell you to buy yesterday
What?
in the STN room?
On what? No, I don't know. What did you tell me to buy? Oracle. You did. He did. He told me to buy Oracle, and I did. It's correct. I did. Joel, the Oracle gain I have, I bought it. I don't know what the hell I think 222. I bought that 10 points because of you. So it's true. You told me go out and buy some Oracle. Did you buy some Oracle too?
No, I don't.
No, he just tells me to buy. He likes to play with my money.
I don't know. I mean, I waited so long for that thing to come in and and fill the gap. I mean, it's just this market just gets so overdone. Like they take it to 340 because of the contract, and then they still got the same darn contract, and they take it down to 210. I mean, it just doesn't make any. It didn't make any sense.
They're worried about the debt because they're printing debt to build all this. Obviously,
Yes.
all of. So, I mean, they're taking on more debt. And that is an issue. Companies, like when it's going really well, they take on debt. And, if the times get tough, though, then that could be an issue here. But Oracle's become a down because they're worried about the debt. I just say Larry Ellison. You've been betting on Larry Ellison since the birth of this company. You've been doing pretty well.
Okay. Final thoughts here. I mean, when there's no resistance, you're going up. I just look at the average daily range. It's over 100 handles. We're up over 100 handles. Keep an eye on the pre-market high and the issues that you're trading. Looking for it to exceed that pre-market high and just keep on going.
Folks, I want to give a little preview here. I am going to push. We have a new piece of programming. We have a new show on STN with Trader Prad, the Trading Edge with Trader Prad. I'm going to push it live to the Pre-Market Prep YouTube today, just to give you guys a little taste of what Prad's been cooking up. Prad's a young, smart guy who is using everything at his disposal to make stock trades. He is going to the prediction markets for odds on things happening in the stock market. He is doing hedges between Polymarket and the stock market. It's really interesting to see how he's thinking about things. So check this out today, folks, at 1 to 2 p.m. This is, again, a new STN show, but I want y'all to check it out. Get a little taste of what Prad's been doing. Join us and Prad and I at 1 p.m. today on our YouTube channel, folks.
So again, subscribe to Pre-Market Prep and you will get a notification when we push some of these shows live, because we're not just an 8 to 9 show anymore. We're doing more content. Obviously, a lot of stuff we're doing over on our channel, Stock Trader Network, but we're trying to push some content out. So today, you're going to get a 1-hour show of what is happening there with Trader Prad, who joins us every Thursday for an hour. And we're going to bring more Prad too. He might be joining us more as well. So we're bringing in a huge team here. Like, we're going to have a lot of different traders. With Jamie Stout coming on in the STN room today. She's going to be talking, politics and trades off of politics. So we're doing a lot of different things. But, this is free for you guys today. So you don't have to sign up anything. Just come to the Pre-Market Prep channel, 1 o'clock. Check out Trader Prad. Let us know what you think.
Okay, that's it for today, folks. Going out near the highs of the pre-market session. Thanks to you all. Thanks for the input from the chat. Sorry I was not able to get to all your symbols, but we will get to them later on in the day. Thanks for joining us on Pre-Market Prep.